Welcome to the Can Innovate podcast, the first ever podcast designed to showcase Canadian thought leadership. These innovators share industry insights, entrepreneurial best practices, lessons learned, and other tips that we can incorporate right into our lives, our careers, and our businesses. So let's get inspired. So I know that I say that every episode is a gem, but I really can't help it. I truly get inspired by everyone that comes on the podcast, and I'm really so grateful for the guest times and all the different types of things that they share about what they've learned in the world or the mistakes they've made and so on. And I always get even more thankful and grateful for all the feedback I get from the listeners out there. However, this episode is really special to me because I get to chat with the Evan Carmichael, who not only inspires me, but he's literally changed the way I think. I'm telling you, from how I used to hit the snooze button to helping me find my purpose, he really has changed the way I think. Now, the funny part about this whole story is that I came across Evan Carmichael a few years ago. He's got an amazing YouTube series out there that's about for entrepreneurs, and they always have, top 10 tips from, Oprah or from, anyone. And it's just amazing. He's got all these amazing videos, and literally he's got over 1.7 million subscribers. It's not a small thing. It's a big deal. He's been doing this for years, and he started it because he never had help when he was an entrepreneur. He truly believes in entrepreneurs, and he really is sleeps, eats, thinks about it, and bleeds entrepreneurship. It's just so much his DNA. At 19 years old, he built and sold a biotech software company. At 22 years old, he was a venture capitalist helping to raise $500,000 to $15 million at the age of 22. This guy has seen it all, been there, done it. And right now he's not 22. Let's just be very clear. But he is brilliant. I mean, he has written, I think, 4 different books out there. I've read 2, and they're just seriously mind-blowing. And he speaks globally. He works with some of the best of the best. And he is the most humble, kind, generous, funny person that you can ever possibly meet. So yes, when I came across him a few years ago, I was actually checking out his content because I really found it useful, really inspirational. It's just brilliant. But I was so surprised to find out that he was Canadian. Honestly, I probably should have known because the clues are right there. He's got a massive love and obsession for Tim Hortons, literally Tim Hortons and the Toronto Blue Jays. But I think I was so enchanted by his content and his video series that I didn't pay attention to even notice that he was Canadian. Now, if you still don't know who Evan Carmichael is, you're really missing out. Let me just tell you how Gary Vee describes Evan Carmichael. Gary Vaynerchuk actually says, Evan consumes so much content and then knows how to DJ it to inspire people. Wow. Right? You can't get any bigger words. I mean, those are pretty big words and high praises from someone like Gary Vee that has content everywhere to say that Evan is the DJ to inspire people with content. And he really has. He's such a force that, he's made it his mission to help people to figure out and tap into their potential. Evan really believes in everything that we're doing. He wants us to believe in ourselves. And, he's just such a force. I honestly am so charmed beyond belief. Now, if I haven't fascinated you enough yet about Evan, check this out for size. He has set 2 world records, uses a stand-up desk, and this is the one that blows me away. He has a giant bag of Doritos in front of him all day long, just to remind him that he is stronger than the Doritos. Talk about dedication and commitment, right? He is so brilliant. So I've actually been really lucky. I've got the pleasure of meeting Evan a few times. I've actually was even on his Instagram live, and he put me on the hot spot and really made me think and tap into not what my brain was thinking, but he tapped into my heart. And it's so weird because the questions were kind of, you think, oh, okay, but it was amazing. It's like he could see right through you. And, he does this on his Instagram lives on a daily basis. He answers people's questions. His workshops, if you get a chance to go to it, they are really life-changing. That's all I can say. And the funny part about it is when, you see people on Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, you kind of wonder if that's who they really are. Well, I can tell you, Evan is exactly what you see out there, except the only difference is that he's over 6 foot tall. I think he may be 6'2" or something like that. So, on a TV screen, you notice that people are kind of smaller than what they appear. But yeah, he's a giant. So this is great. So I ended up getting a chance to record this podcast episode with Evan while he was driving during his 90-day tour. Yeah. He did 23 cities in 90 days, and it was amazing. So I managed to catch him on the road, and he made such great time for us. And I'm really grateful for him for his time, and we ended up chatting about so many things. So in this episode, we chat about how people can figure out their untapped potential. We all have something to offer in the world, and he provides us tools and inspiration to help us figure that out. It's amazing. He talks about, how our pain that we've come from and we tapping into that really helps serve our purpose and really helps us, identify our one word and purpose. He even started a free Girl Boss series where you get a daily video for 254 days that just is purely of wisdom and inspiration from women that are actually crushing it and doing it, which I think is brilliant because we all kind of need that little level of, it is achievable. And we talk about how the 254 days it takes to build a habit so it becomes automatically embedded in our life. Oh, yeah. And we also talk about, he shares his thoughts about how you beat the battle of the alarm clock and the snooze button. Honestly, he really has changed my life, a lot of things. And, we talk about so much more, and I really can't wait for you to check it out. And by the way, stick around to the end of the episode because you're going to hear how you can get a signed copy of his book, The One Word. This book literally has changed my life. Like I always said, there's, The Alchemist kind of screwed up my life forever. Well, The One Word has definitely done that as well because it really changed how I thought. And you know what? Everyone else that I've given this to or other people that have read this book have said the exact same thing. It's such an amazing journey to go through. Anyways, this book has seriously become one of my top 10 business books. I have bought way too many copies and I've given them away as a gift. But anyways, you can actually win a signed copy from the infamous Evan Carmichael. I really hope you enjoy this episode because I really enjoyed talking to him. So Evan, I am such a huge fan of yours. I mean, honestly, a huge, huge fan of yours. And hi, Nina and Danny. I know they're with you on your big 90-day American tour.
They're here. They're here.
Hi.
This is really, really great. Thank you guys so much for making time for this. I really, truly appreciate it.
It's fun. Let's do it.
I can't wait.
Canadians.
I love it. I actually had no clue that you were Canadian until, honestly, about, I think, 8 months ago. And when I was like, I had been following your YouTube videos forever because I find them so inspirational. And then I found out you're Canadian on top of that. I was like, what? That is awesome.
What's your favorite video?
Oh, I think it's Tony Robbins still because I actually find him really kind of exciting and the amount of wisdom and his stories that he comes up with. But then again, your Oprah one kind of threw me for a loop too. So I don't know. To be fair, you've got too many to choose from.
I love it. We just launched this weekend, I guess whenever this podcast comes out, but we just launched this weekend our Girl Boss series, 254 days of Girl Boss, woman entrepreneur wisdom. Every day you get a video. It's free. That's 1 minute to 5 minutes in the morning, emailed to you at 5 a.m. Eastern of a successful, powerful, badass female leader in your inbox in video format. So I'm super pumped about that.
I am super pumped for that too. I can tell you there's going to be so many people that are going to be so excited about it. You're going to have no shortage of people going, wow, 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 and sharing, because that's exactly what we kind of need.
I hope so. That's always the game. It's always the goal. We'll see.
So anyways, you're on your 90-day tour so far. How's it going? I guess you're kind of, 1/3 through your tour?
We're 1/3 through. Yep. It's great. We went from Toronto. We're on our way right now to San Diego. It's the furthest stop on the tour, and now we're, after this, slowly making our way back to California and then back to Toronto. So it's been amazing meeting all the different entrepreneurs in different cities, and also doing collaborations and making connections that help me with my mission, where I'm going. And super pumped. I mean, it started just as I made a goal to Nina, and I said, I'm going to take you to every city in North America with 1 million+ people. And by the end of this, we'll have hit half the cities. So it's exciting.
It's really exciting. I don't know how you get the motivation. Like, seriously, how do you get the motivation?
It starts with having a purpose. So your purpose comes from your pain. And for me, it's helping entrepreneurs. And when you figure that out, whatever the most painful moment was in your life, your purpose for the rest of your life will be to help other people who are currently going through the pain that you went through. That will never get old. That will be what you'll love doing forever. The how you do it may change. It may be a tour, maybe books, maybe videos, virtual reality, holograms, like it's going to change with time, but the purpose doesn't get old. I think this is a default state. Like, I think everybody should be doing this. Not necessarily this, what I'm doing of a 90-day tour, but feeling energetic and excited for the days ahead because you're doing something that is aligned with your purpose. I think most people just don't know what their purpose is.
You know what? This is amazing. So anyways, for our listeners out there, Evan Carmichael, if you don't know him, you need to really pay attention to this guy, because I think your YouTube channel is for entrepreneurs and has like 1.7 million subscribers or something like that. I mean, I think you started this quite a few years ago. I don't even know how you started it or what motivated you to start this.
So I've been wanting to help entrepreneurs for a long time, and on that mission for a while. I was doing my website. That's what I used to be known for. We had 100,000 pages plus of content and had big names writing through the website. And I just started playing around with YouTube. I just made a video. And I think that's always the starting point. Like, as soon as you get an idea, go do something about it. Just try it. Just tinker. Just play with it. Stop having it to be perfect. Just go and see how it feels. And so I went off and made a video, and I liked it. I sucked at it. My first video was brutal. You can go back and watch it. It was really terrible. But I like the process of it. And the people who had the most success, any of your heroes, they love the process of the work that they do. They love the game, the actual work. And so I loved it, and I just started working on it more and more and more, and eventually became my main thing instead of the website.
You know, it's funny, I was reading some reviews about you, and it said Gary Vaynerchuk, as most people know him as Gary V, says, Evan consumes so much content, and then he knows how to DJ it to inspire people. Like, wow, that has got to be mind-blowing.
Yeah, so we've worked with Gary for a number of years, and I had him on the channel a while ago, and he has a way of seeing the world too that's a little bit different, a little bit weird duck, and I liked how he put that. It's like, yeah, that's pretty true. That's cool. I like it. So we put that on the website. I said, hey, would you mind if I put on my website? He's like, yeah, go for it. Like, okay, great. I love it.
No, it's amazing because, I mean, your mission to help people untap their potential, I mean, that is kind of such a big, huge mission. Like, it's so huge. Like, where did that come from?
It's the same thing. It's from your pain. I think what I was saying before of how everybody should be able to get up and be pumped about the day that they have ahead if you're purpose-driven. I think everybody has Michael Jordan-level talent at something. They just don't know what it is, and they haven't found it, or they have found it and they don't believe in themselves enough to chase it down. And so I was meeting an entrepreneur last night in Phoenix, and he wanted to go down this new path. He's like, 2019, I need to hit the reset button, and I got to figure out where I'm going. And I gave him an idea that he really wants to do, and he's like, let me wrap my head around it. I have to wrap my head around it. And in my frustration with him, I said, you don't need to wrap your head around it. You need to wrap your heart around it. And I'm going to, like, man, somebody write that down. That's great. We're going to use that. we try to make sense of these things, and you can't. It's like love. You can't make sense of it. You have to feel it. Your purpose is going to be something that is illogical. Why am I so driven to get up and do this? It's not a practical thing. If I was talking to you here just because it was a strategy for me, I would lose. Like, you can't do it just because it's a strategy. You have to do it because you love it. And when those things come together, the strategy and the love, the head and the heart, that's when you actually start to win.
You know, this is so amazing because I totally get where you're coming from, and you've really untapped and opened up my heart to a lot of things that I didn't realize how passionate I was. So, like, I have to say thank you so much for that. And it's really interesting because as I've been doing the podcast, I'm writing the networking book and doing other things of coaching others, you know, I've actually had a lot of people kind of contact me and actually ask me that they feel like they should be doing something greater, but they just don't know what exactly it is. Like, they can't put their finger on it. Do you have any tips of how they can kind of uncover some of their potential?
Yeah, so it's a 3-step process. The first is we're going to go who, why, and how. So who is, who are you? What's your one word? It's the first book that I wrote. What's your one word, most important core value? I believe as you're a human, you have one core value that's more important than all the others. When you figure that out, you can live a life that is more purpose-driven and intentional. So for me, it's believe. Believe is my one word. And so now I start to intentionally design mine. Why are we talking? Because you are giving an extra platform to help me spread a message of believe, but you also like the message of believe. You know, we've connected before, and I love your energy and vibe and great questions and personality and your mission. And even if your one word isn't exactly believe, we're on a similar mission and parallel paths. And so you start to attract people who believe the same things that you believe, and that just makes life a lot easier and all your business aspirations a lot easier. So it starts with figuring out your who. And you can pick up the book as a way to go through it, but some quick hacks is think about who your favorite teacher was growing up and why. You've had hundreds of teachers. Why did, Mrs. Thompson from grade 7 math, like why did she stand out versus everybody else? It's not because she taught you math. So write down 3 things that you loved about Mrs. Thompson. More values that she espoused, things that she did that made you feel great. And then who's your favorite recording artist? And what's your favorite movie? And why? Again, write down 3 things that describe those favorite recording artists, favorite movies. And then finally, what did you learn about your parents that you love? How did your parents parent you that you loved? You may not love everything about your parents. You may not love much about your parents, but there's some things that you love about them. And so if you then look at that list, you think, well, how does that make sense? Like Mrs. Thompson from grade 7 math, and then my favorite musician, recording artist, my favorite movie, what I love from my parents. There's a common theme that's at the center of who you are. And when you figure that out, then you get to design a life with a lot more intention. And so most people have no idea what they stand for. And so that's why you care so much about what other people think about you, because you want to have confidence and you want to have certainty, but you don't. So you end up standing in quicksand, constantly feeling like you're drowning, where your one word, your most important core value, gives you the rock to stand on. So that's the starting point. It's your who, your one word, most important core value. Next, you get to great. So I'm my one word is believe. Awesome. There's tons of stuff I can do. Who am I believing in? What's the plan? What's the mission? So next is your purpose comes from your pain that I talked about. So this is your why. Why do you do what you do? Why do I get up? Why am I driving to San Diego? Why do you do what you do? Why do the crazy things that I do? Why make 3 videos a day on my YouTube channel for 5+ years? Why? I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. I felt the most worthless as a human being in my early days as my business. And so I don't want other people to have to go through that pain. And I want to try to ease the suffering for other people who are currently struggling with those issues. And so that'll be my why for life. So I believe. Who do I believe in? I believe in entrepreneurs. So now I've got my who, I've got my why. The last is the how. How are you going to do it? Okay, how do you believe in entrepreneurs? So if you're starting up a new podcast, maybe you need equipment and gear and microphones and headphones and all that stuff. And I could help you and research and figure all that out because I'm pumped for you to start your podcast. But I don't enjoy that process. I'm not the technical guy. I don't like having to research sound equipment and headphones and all that stuff. It doesn't get me excited. I'll do it because I like the result of you now having your podcast, but I don't like the process. And so if you look at your who and your why, if you look at, for me, how I've believed in entrepreneurs, there will be some things that I like more than others. I like making videos. I like doing interviews. I like doing speaking tours. I like this stuff. And so when you enjoy the process of it, when you enjoy the how as well as the result, that's when you start to win, and win really big. And so it's just figuring out that who will never change, your one word, most important core value. Your why will never change. Your purpose is what your purpose will be for life. And then the how you do it, there'll be some evolution. And that's okay. And that's where the experimentation comes in. But when you figure out your who, your why, your how, life starts to get really good.
So I have to say, your book, The One Word, really, truly changed so much about how I think and feel. I actually ended up giving away God knows how many copies at Christmas time as Christmas gifts to everybody, because I think everybody really needs to kind of go through it. Like the book, The One Word, it's such a hard concept to get to, but it's so mind-blowing when you actually figure out your word. And for me, it turned out to be about empowerment, and it took me forever to kind of really find that and really hone into the deep side of me to kind of get there. So that book is so brilliant beyond belief. I think it's got to be one of my favorite top 10 business books of all time. It's really amazing. And I read a lot. I even started an online book club. And I think your book is going to be one of the ones we're going to feature, because I just think it's just phenomenal that everyone has to kind of tap into this. But
wow. Well, that's super humbling. And thank you. That's amazing. Love to do is also then figure out a way to have a signed copy go to somebody listening here today. I'll have to get back to Toronto to send it out, and we can meet up, or we'll figure out the logistics. But however you want to award somebody a free copy of my book signed, you let me know how you want to make that happen, and we'll figure it out.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, any chance we could also talk about your 254 confidence book that came out too?
Yeah, there's that. That's coming. That came out, and then I have that process that I just walked you through. The who, I, how is my next book that I'm just going through the proposal stage of right now, trying to get another deal with a big publisher. So people keep asking that question. On my tour right now, it's the biggest question I get asked, and I just think once you figure it out, life gets so good, and it just makes sense as the next book. So. Yes, I never thought I'd be a writer, but here I am, like a book every year pretty much. The 254 book, I really am trying to figure out a business model around 254 where what does that even mean? So it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So there's a lot of research out there about habit building, and they say the lowest is 18 days, and the average is 66 days, and the max is 254 days. Which means if you want to wake up and have a glass of water and keep that habit consistent, it could take you up to 254 days before it becomes automatic. The reason why we're not keeping our habits is because we're not doing it for long enough for it to become automatic. So it's great it works for water or anything else, but I want to apply it to confidence and mindset and development, because I think everybody's capable of great things. And so I started a video series called 254, where every day you get emailed a video in the morning at 5 a.m. around something. So the first one I did was around confidence. The second one I did was around Black excellence. The third one is called Writer's Wisdom. So it's advice and guidance for writers. The fourth one is GIRLBOSS that we just launched. And you imagine, if every day you get a message, quick message, 1 to 5 minutes from Oprah Winfrey or J.K. Rowling or any successful woman who's out there crushing her dreams, and you may not come, or your listeners may not come from an environment where they have a lot of support. They have people who are empowering them, to use your one word. And here now every morning when you might feel down or rejected or like a loser, or you're not winning enough, you don't have confidence, here's another woman giving you another message, giving you hope that it's possible. And my goal is to be able to make 1,000 of these, for all different kinds of people and backgrounds, and fields that you want to get into. My challenge is it cost me $10,000 to make each one. And so I need to figure out a business model around it so that we can continue to scale it out. And so my attempt at that is the book. And so we turned the first one, 254 Days of Confidence, into a book where the idea is every day you read one page. It's just one page, and it takes a minute to 2 minutes, depending on how fast you read, but it's one page every day. The idea is don't blast through the book. You want that little injection every single day of confidence, so that by the end of the 254 days, if not sooner, you will be a more confident person. And so there's exercises after each day for you to take on and do, but people have gone through the book and gone through the video series, and they're coming out more confident. And imagine what you can do with your goals, with your life, if you were more confident, And so it's an amazing project that I'm blessed to be a part of, and hopefully it continues to expand its reach.
It's definitely going to expand its reach, because honestly, I was looking at the reviews for the book for 254 Confidence as I was getting ready for the interview. And there was this one that actually just honestly touched my heart so much. She actually goes on about, she couldn't stop reading the book. So she did everything you told her not to do. And she consumed the book all in once. But she says afterwards, she goes, then I stopped and I read it one page at a time. And this is what her quote was: I want you to know that if you ever wanted someone to be in your life that is pushing you towards your dreams, this is Evan's way of just doing that. You've just got to take advantage of it. And I was just like, whoa, that is amazing to see that a book like yours is actually inspiring so many people to feel like they have that support system.
Yeah, it's super humbling. It's great to see the feedback on all the work. I'm blessed to have a great community, and that's the intention. Here's what happens when you read a book. When you read a book, you get into that person, whoever wrote the book, you get into their mindset. You start to shift. You start to think like them. You start to see the world like them. You start to take on some of their beliefs and their way of seeing the world. And I think you become a slightly different person, hopefully better person if you're reading good books. The challenge is when you put the book down, you stop becoming that person. You stop thinking like them. You lose your confidence. You go back to who you were before, or you pick up another book and you start becoming something else. And a lot of times you're not reading the book for long enough to have that way of thinking stick. And so you could read the 254 book all the way through, and it's not a difficult read, and you'll blast through it, especially if you're a quick reader, and you'll feel so confident while you're reading it. You'll feel unstoppable and amazing, but then it's going to go away. If it takes an average of 66 days to build a habit, if it takes you more than 66 days to read the book, less than 66 days to read the book, you haven't built the habit of confidence yet. So you've just got a little injection, you've got a little coffee shot of confidence, but it's not going to be sustainable. And so I want it to be sustainable. I want you to be a more confident person for life. And this is the best way that I know how to do it. So it's great. We plow through it, but then go back and actually do it how it's supposed to be consumed. One page a day, it'll make a difference.
Oh, that's exactly what she said. She goes, I went back to do one page a day, and it just seriously, there's something of a motivation every day, and it just makes her kind of have her own anthem. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's that you're creating an anthem for people so they can march to every day.
I like it. Well, so the Confidence book is out. Ideally, we could do it for all the series. We're working on the Black Excellence book, making a book and publishing it and formatting it in ebook. It's a lot of work to put together, but ideally we could do it for the GIRLBOSS series and every series that we put out.
I think there's so much value to it. It's unbelievable. I don't know how you manage it all. You're posting on Instagram, I don't know how many times a day. Obviously, I'm a big, huge follower of yours. Hence, the reason why I know where there's Tim Hortons in the U.S. and which cities don't have Tim Hortons. And that you're doing your keto and you're so disciplined. It's just amazing. Like, you've got this going on. You've got the YouTube plus your clients, plus now you're doing all these workshops. You're traveling, you're driving. Like, you just managed to do it all. Like, what is your secret sauce besides motivation? Like, I've heard you talk about your morning routine before.
Yeah. So I think looking at what I'm doing, remember I have a team. So there's 24 of us who all make this machine go. It's not a one man army doing everything here at the front. I'm blessed to have the spotlight, I guess, and people think it's me doing everything. I do a lot of work, but I'm not. My team destroys me in terms of output of what they're contributing to this mission. So when I start, I do everything myself, and then I quickly look to see how can I bring people on to help me. So Instagram, when I started it, taking it seriously was me doing everything, and then now it's still me doing a lot, but it's me and one other person who are creating the content and posting it, and that will grow as I help optimize the system. So yes, having the motivation, having the purpose of what you're doing, the morning routine becomes important because it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget. If I look at what I do, I sit in front of a phone or a computer for a big chunk of the day. It's easy to forget the impact of the work that you do, especially if you're in a non-customer facing, like right in front of you kind of business. That comment that you read from the book review was amazing. That's if that person was in front of me or came to my workshop or met me somewhere, it'd be a life-changing experience, for me. I'm sure for her too, but for me. And it's easy to forget that stuff. And so reminding yourself on a regular basis the importance of the work that you do, as well as the injecting the confidence and belief that you're capable. So, you look at empowering. You might have a great one-on-one session with one of your clients and they leave feeling empowered, because hanging around Sapna, you're going to feel more empowered to go off and chase down your mission. It's just who you are. It's just going to happen. But if that person is not there with you, then tomorrow you might wake up and not be as driven or motivated. And so the successful people who I've studied, who've gone on and done major amazing things, they don't wake up like an accident. They wake up and they have an intentional routine that sets them up for success on a daily basis, that reminds them of their mission, that makes them feel bold and unstoppable and confident and willing to go take on scary, risky projects that other people would be too afraid to go off and do. And so I think for all of us, we all have something else that brings that drive out. What I do versus what Oprah does or The Rock does or somebody else doesn't matter as much. For anybody listening, you've all felt bold and motivated at some point in your life. You felt bold and motivated at some point in your life. We're just not living there consistently, and that's the problem. And so maybe it's listening to Sapna's podcast. Like if listening to this makes you feel more empowered, then start your day every day by listening to Sapna's podcast and go back and listen to old episodes. Start your day with the thing that helps make you feel bold and empowered and unstoppable. And some people that's a podcast, and some people that's a video, and some people that's a book, which is why I've done mine. And some people that's meditation, and whatever you need to do. If you need to, wax your eyebrows naked with your cat outside on the balcony every morning, amazing. Like, go do that. I'm pumped for you. Whatever the thing is that you need to do to get you feeling bold and unstoppable, don't let that be an accident that sometimes happens in your life. The successful people intentionally put that as part of their morning routine, so they demand confidence from themselves to go off and chase down the day.
I love that. And for any parting words, I would love you to tell the listeners about the battle of the alarm clock. I love your theory, and it actually has made me stop hitting snooze. So can you just share that with us?
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a big mindset guy, so I like attacking things that I feel make me weak from a mindset perspective. And so what does most of the North America do every morning? What's the first thing? When I ask my audience, they say, I don't know, check my phone, go to the bathroom, grab some water. It's like, no, what most of North America does is they hit the snooze button. And what does that mean when you hit the snooze button? And when I ask them, they say, well, you're being lazy, or you're not ready for the day, or a bunch of reasons. For me, what it signifies is you last night, you set a goal. The very last thing you did before going to bed was you set a goal. I'm going to wake up at whatever time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I don't care what time you wake up, but you set a goal that you were going to wake up at this time. And then the very first thing you do is you hit the phone or hit the alarm, hit the snooze button, and it says, I am not going to hit my goal today. That's the very first thing you do when you start your morning. You set a goal last night, and the very first start is, I am not going to hit my goal. And for a lot of people, they hit that button multiple times until they're really not going to hit their goal today. And the way that I see it is, how are you going to go off and have an amazing day and go crush your goals and go do these scary things that are bound to be questioned and help you become the person that you want to be if you can't even get up when you say you're going to get up? If you're telling yourself in your mind that I'm the person who doesn't hit my goals from the very first start of the day. And so some people say, wake up and make the bed, or wake up and brush your teeth. I say just wake up when you say you're going to wake up. And there's a whole bunch of health benefits to not snoozing. You're actually not as tired. And I believe in all that, but I don't care as much about that stuff. For me, it's more mindset. I want to train myself that when I set goals, I follow through. And it starts with your morning routine and waking up when you say you're going to wake up instead of hitting the snooze button.
I love that. I love that. Like, literally, you've made me stop hitting the snooze button, because every time I'm about to hit it, I always have my one eye open, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen anymore, because it makes me think, going, am I going to let my clock beat me? And that's the end of my day. And yeah, so you've made it a big, huge difference in multiple areas of my life. And seriously, Evan, I cannot say thank you enough for your time, your motivation, your inspiration, and putting out all this amazing content. I mean, you really are DJing so much amazing stuff out there. And your team, I mean, Evan Carmichael's team extraordinaire. I know Danny and Nina are in the car with you, and they're just brilliant beyond belief. So thank you again.
I appreciate your love and energy. I'm super pumped for you. Okay, so go to Can Innovate. Go to Can Innovate Instagram account, and on that post for this show, how about we do, tell us what your favorite movie of all time is and why. That'll be a good starting point to figuring out your one word if people don't know it.
Ah, good one. Love it. See, you're always creatively thinking.
And then Sapna will pick whoever leaves the best comment there. Sapna will pick one, and I'll send them a free signed copy of my book. And I'm pumped. Yeah, let's make that happen.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your kindness and generosity, and a great idea. I love it. Thank you. Well, happy travels. The 90-day tour is still going on, and I'm really excited to see all the updates, because the amount of value you're giving to all these guys, because I got a chance to try your workshop, it's just going to be, I know it's going to be mind-blowing.
Amazing. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Sapna.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in and tuning in this week. Next week, you got another really cool episode. Hope you enjoyed the sneak peek. I'm going to try to do this and see how this works. If you guys are interested, like the little sneak teasers, let me know. I'd love to hear back from all of you. And don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review. And let me know if you know of another Canadian innovator that's doing something really cool around the world. Let's get them showcased. Or if there's an innovation trend that you would like to specifically focus on. Anyways, looking forward to hearing from all of you, and talk to you next week. Cheers.